Rockstars, I'm Jessica Clemons, and this is exactly the breakdown you didn't ask me for. Yes, this is a Minecraft movie breakdown. Go ahead and get your chicken jockeys out of your system in the comments below, because please, I need you guys to stop doing that in theaters. You know that there's people that work there, right? Because they have to clean up every crevice, or else you get cockroaches. This 2025 fantasy adventure phenomenon is leading as the most profitable film of the year so far, surpassing Captain America: Brave New World. What? Some have called it the box office king, so let's get into this box office hit scene by scene, looking for all those missed details and Easter eggs you might have missed. But first, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes launching your own website a breeze. Be sure to check out nerdride.shop, where you can always find the latest and greatest in your Rockstars merch. Right now, you can find some new Daredevil Born Again merch. We made it to the very end. It's almost over, and you can end it too with a Josie shirt. Look at how cool these are. Also, these new Fantastic Four shirts that feature the Fantastic Car. Shopping at nerdride.shop is just a great way to support the channel and support us. Go check it out. Wear something on your back. Let's get into this crazy movie. We begin the movie with the creeper blowing up the logo, which feels like a nod to the Pixar animation of the lamp jumping on the Pixar logo. We'll also see more of these bad boys later in the movie. This movie begins with the Minecraft Java loading world screen and opens to young Steve, played by Bram Scott Breeny. Steve always wanted to work in the mines. He yearned for the mines. Oh God, why am I doing this breakdown? And the mine shafts, similar to this one, are structures in the game. We meet older Steve, regular Steve, played by Jack Black, and Steve is the default skin that was first introduced in the game. Allegedly, this role was initially cast as Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows, but due to the 2023 actor strike, he had to drop due to scheduling conflicts. Jack Black being swapped in for Matt Berry for this role, honestly, it feels okay for me. It feels like it makes sense. The Minecraft movie director Jared Hess, who is also known for his quirky weird movies like Nacho Libre, Napoleon Dynamite, and Gentlemen Broncos, that also featured Flight of the Conchords, Jermaine Clement, Jack Black, and Jennifer Coolidge, all actors appearing in this movie as well. He's kind of like the king of indie quirky weird movies, and when I say he's kind of the king of these, I'm talking about like Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite. I'm not talking about 500 Days of Summer and Little Miss Sunshine quirky. So this movie was always made for either a Matt Berry or Jack Black type. Then he's in full Minecraft outfit now, light blue shirt and dark blue pants, and I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but yes, the pickaxe is also a tool in Minecraft that you use in the game. Then he finds the Orb of Dominance and the Earth Crystal. Combining them open the portal to the overworld. In the game, the Orb of Dominance was an evil sentient cube that corrupted and manipulated people. It manifested as the Heart of the Ender, which was the game's final boss. In dungeons, it was red. Then Steve takes us to the overworld, which is the main map you enter in Minecraft the game, and the energy of the portals, like everything else in Minecraft, is made of blocks. There's a classic forest biome at the bottom left of the screen. Across from that are the windswept hills. We got an eroded badlands in the top right. Looming behind everything are the jagged peaks of the mountain biome, and a stony shore borders the river that runs through the map. The music that starts playing is Calm 1, the main Minecraft theme. We see the Minecraft bees immediately, the rare pink sheep, a white llama, these cows. Steve builds a cobblestone house. This is kind of a specific reference, but in game your reach is 4 blocks long. So after placing 4 blocks in a line, you'd have to move to place the next blocks. And it looks like he places exactly 4 blocks here, then stops. So they're using the real in-game reach length. His first house is made out of dirt, classic new player move. Second house, he's getting fancier, working with stone, and now he's got a wood roof too. He's moving up in the world. Steve says the night is every 20 minutes, which is the in-game cycle. You can also see the zombies are trying to break in. These are the zombies from the game. They spawn naturally, usually at night or in just dark areas. And the lantern, bed, and chest are all straight out of the games, of course. You can actually tame these wolves, like you're seeing here, by giving them bones in Minecraft. And like we're seeing, when you do that, a little heart comes out. Steve creates Steve's world, and within Steve's world, there's a creeper at the gates, a full roller coaster and circus tower, and the villager Statue of Liberty to the left. Then we see Steve dancing with these pandas, and in this world, yes, you can have pandas in the game, and they also come in different variations. Steve finds a ruined portal which spawns randomly in the game and can be found in any biome. When completed, they open nether portals, like they do here. Also true to their in-game appearance, this ruined portal has a treasure chest next to it. These chests often contain ways to finish and ignite the portal, which are more obsidian blocks, and yes, like he says, flint and steel. When you make a fire next to the completed portal in the game, it activates it. Steve goes into the nether. There's not a lot of lore surrounding what the nether actually is, but like it's shown here, it's full of lava and piglins. The piglin leader, Malgosha, is made up for the movie, but she's somewhat similar to the Great Hog, the leader of the piglins in the Minecraft Legends. In that game, the Hoginator was also trying to overthrow the overworld, and we'll see the Great Hog later in the movie. Malgosha is also voiced by Rachel House, who you know, but in case you don't, she's this character in Thor Ragnarok.
What do I always say? She is the, and it starts with a B.
Trash.
No, not trash. Were you waiting to just call her that? It doesn't start with a B.
Booze heck.
The piglin brutes come to the overworld and start to transform once they touch the collar. And to clarify, in the base games, piglins zombify when they reach the overworld. In Legends, they introduced the idea that piglins can use Netherwart, an item from the base game, to travel to the overworld and just not zombify. Then the logo appears hovering over the world like it does in the game's startup menu. Then we meet Jason Momoa's Garrett Garrison, the Gamer of the Year 1989 World Championship. This was the first year that Nintendo hosted the Nintendo Challenge Championship, which later became the Nintendo World Championship. The font on the window is the same as the Nintendo Championship font. They also say that he won playing Hunk City Rampage, and this looks like a very similar game to something like Bad Dudes or Streets of Rage. When we later see Garrett playing the arcade game, we're going to see some different arcade cabinets. Defender, which came out in 81, Astron Belt that came out in 83, and Robotron that came out in 82. All were published by Sega or Atari, key players in the early gaming console retails. You know, you remember, unless you don't. I wasn't born in the 80s, but I at least know what Sega and Atari are. We later see a post woman serving Garrett, and on her two patches you can see it says Chugless in the state outline of Idaho. Chugless is a fictional town, though the movie's location is supposed to be in the state of Idaho. However, it does make sense that their most enormous corporation in the movie is a potato chip factory, because, you know, Idaho's known for potatoes. Look, that's too north. There's a too west for me. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, but not that far. Then at the auction, we meet a very famous man, Daryl, played by Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, Moana, What We Do in the Shadows, and he and I share the same birthday. That doesn't matter, but I love adding it in. In the auction, they found an Atari Cosmos, which was an unreleased handheld console. It used holography to create a layered visual effect. It looks like one was sold at an auction for $25,000. Then during the auction, we see a lot of Minecraft YouTubers, Dan TDM, Afmal, LD Shadow Lady, and Mumbo Jumbo. We meet Henry and Natalie, played by Sebastian Eugene Hansen and Emma Myers, who, crazy story, their mom died in the movie, and the two moved to Idaho with Natalie as the guardian. And yes, these are kids watching kids. It's a Minecraft movie. I'm not gonna get too nitpicky about it. They meet Dawn, played by Danielle Brooks, who you might have seen in Peacemaker. She's also in Orange is the New Black, and the casting is a little wild in this movie. Then at Garrett's shop, we see Rob the robot. Rob was Nintendo's mascot when they launched the NES, and this model was sort of an animated robot that could interact as a sort of second player in all of the two games. He goes for about $300 online. The laser scope next to it was a light gun headset you could use with the NES Zapper games. It sells for about $200 online. Then we meet Marlene, played by Jennifer Coolidge, and her ex-husband we meet right after. And honestly, I think Jennifer Coolidge is very funny in this movie. She keeps telling everyone that doesn't want to hear it, about her divorce. After the disaster of knocking Chuggy off the company building, Henry calls Garrett to pretend to be his uncle, and in his room he's reading a Dynamite magazine with him on the cover. Dynamite magazine I only know because my mom used to have these, but it's an old children's magazine from like 74 to 1993. This is also my favorite part of the movie. This is when Henry asks Garrett to pretend to be his uncle, and he's like, no, I don't do that anymore. And Henry says, I got 26 bucks. Then it quickly cuts to him pulling up in his Firebird. I thought this scene was actually edited perfectly. It's very funny. Back in the overworld, the landscape has changed a bit since Steve has been working. There's his face castle to the right and the theme park as well, and there's a cherry orchard on the top of the plateau, which is another of the game's biomes. Garrett says, we're not in Idaho anymore. This must be Wyoming. And it does kind of look like Wyoming, but I also had to look up this joke because I might have just went over my head. And this could be tied to Rooster Teeth, where they did the Play Minecraft series. On episode 16, Gavin is like, where's Minecraft set? Is it in America? And Ray says, yes, it's like Wyoming. This movie does make a lot of references to their fan base, so I'm guessing this might be directly linked to that. A gas flies past. These are the enemies you can find in the Nether. Like in the game, all it does is shoot fireballs, eat hot chips, and cry. But I think they're now making one that can smile, but they mainly just cry. You can mine gold in the Nether, but it looks like they're mining it out of their fortress rock, which isn't typically how you see it done. But piglins do wear gold armor in the game, so it makes sense that they would want more of it. They're also very aggressive unless the player is wearing gold. Malgosia stabs the piglin and it turns into a chunk of meat. And I don't think this happens to the piglins in game, but animals like pigs and chickens do turn into meat chops upon death. If the fact that it's April already is making you feel like you need to get a 2025 accomplishment under your belt, here's an easy one for you. Use Squarespace to make yourself a website. It's easy, it's quick, and you'll walk away with a website so polished everyone will assume you spent a year tinkering away at it. Squarespace is an all-in-one tool that gives you everything you need to make a website that looks good and does whatever you need it to do. If you're not a graphic designer, don't worry. Squarespace's design intelligence tool makes it so easy to get your website looking just right. It combines 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology. Every Squarespace website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more, so you show up more often to more people in a global search engine results. And with just a few clicks, Squarespace can help you untangle digital payment platforms, making it easy to start receiving payments right away using popular payment methods like Apple Pay, ACH, Direct Debit, Klarna, and more. more. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/newrockstars to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. It changes from day to night, and this is when the enemies come out in the game. However, the transition is more gradual than it is here, which they lampshade by saying, "Did that feel quick to anyone else?" They're attacked by skeleton archers and giant spiders, both of which are in-game mobs naturally. Henry then runs into a tree, breaking the trunk, which turns into a smaller wood block like in the game. Also, the tree stays hovering in place, which is how the physics work in Minecraft, for most blocks anyways. The skeleton turns into a bone when it falls. Also, you can find the mine tunnels like this, but they don't usually have torches inside them. So this must have been one of Steve's tunnels. It was also only blocked off by a single layer of dirt. The bows that the skeletons were using are glowing purple, which in game means they're enchanted somehow. The iconic Minecraft creeper then shows up and attacks Momoa, and then the zombies go after the sheep. And the creepers then blowing up your hard built creation is exactly why they're so iconic and so feared in Minecraft. And like in the game, all the evil mobs catch on fire at daylight. Garrett tells Steve if he double crosses them, he'll crush your cabeza between my butt cheeks like a walnut. Later, when they're sharing the elytra, he ends up doing just that. Later, we see Nitwit, a villager who makes it to Earth and is hit by Marlene. We'll see the relationship blossom throughout the movie, but I wanted to add from an interview Jennifer Coolidge said when director Jared Hess reached out to her to be in the movie,
he sent me a naked photo of Nitwit.
And you were like, I'm in.
You're like, yeah, count me in.
and that's the chaos and the confusion that really makes this movie. Nitwit is also voiced by the OG Steve, Matt Berry, which we'll hear later at the end of the movie. However, he's performed by Brett McKenzie, who was one half of Flight of the Conchords with Jermaine Clement. We officially then meet the villagers, all with incredible jobs. We have a toolsmith, a farmer, an armorer, a wandering trader, I think a snow biome villager. I'm not sure what the profession might be here though. 2 unemployed plains villagers and a plains armorer, desert villager on the left in the white robes. Steve tells us the villagers are vegetarians, and this is largely true. They only eat their crops and bread, but there are butcher villager types, so maybe it's like a loose way of saying they're vegetarian. Steve said villagers love crushing loaves, and in Minecraft, you get villagers to mate by feeding them bread, and then they actually crush loaves, if you get what I'm saying. Then we see a pig with a crown, and this refers to Technoblade, a Minecraft YouTuber who passed away from cancer in 2022. His in-game avatar was a piglin with a crown on it. Now, fun fact, I barely played Minecraft. However, I did love watching people play Minecraft, and Technoblade was one of the people I did love watching after he streamed. And watching him cover videos about going through the procedures and dealing with the battle of cancer was very eye-opening, but very sad. And it was really nice to see this in the movie. We see the Iron Golem, which can be summoned by villagers and help to protect them when raided by illagers. He calls them all a big softy, and golems can be seen giving flowers to children in the game. This red line is formed by redstone. It can be used sort of like electricity to connect different inputs in specific blocks. This build is from the Infinite Chicken Farm. In Minecraft, you can create machines and buildings to infinitely gather materials. Although here it's not automatic. Many of these builds in the game run automatically, and there's no need to really pull a lever. But the idea of a bunch of chickens in a small coop up top that breed, make more chickens, and fall into the lava to make cooked chicken is a common type of setup. Fittingly, a plains butcher villager is working the chicken stand. We then meet General Chungus, who is voiced by Minecraft movie director Jared Hess. Yes, the creator, the writer of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. Back with the gang, they mentioned the Woodland Mansion, and these are added to Minecraft to give the illagers who were enemies in Minecraft dungeons a place in the main game to spawn and live. They're always in dark forests, which Steve mentions here. He also mentions big giant red mushrooms, which are another type of biome in Minecraft. We then see a sign for Steve's secret stash, and these signs, along with the spiders everywhere, just look like the in-game signs that you can actually make. Inside Steve's house, we can see real in-game items. We got the TNT, the dynamite, fireworks, also good for propulsion, and when paired with the elytra, a pair of in-game wings, you can use the fireworks to boost and gain altitude. There's a pumpkin head, we got blue potion, light gold potion, potion of strength, the dark orange potion, potion of fire resistance, the green helmet, the turtle shell helmet that can help you breathe underwater. Boots of swiftness are from dungeons. They don't exist in the main game. And golden carrots, these are the food items that have the highest saturation in the game, meaning when you eat them, you stay full for longer than most other foods. And the golden apple, these can be used to cure zombie villagers back to normal villagers. To the right of the shelf is a lectern. This is where the unemployed villagers work and become librarians. And Steve's swords are arranged in terms of in-game strength based on their materials: wood, gold, stone, iron, diamond, and netherite. There's a pile of furnaces behind Steve that you can see, and players often have more than one furnace because each can only fire one material at a time. So players try to maximize their output often stack these puppies up. That gold statue in the chest is also also a totem of the undying, and they just, let you not die if you would otherwise. Ironically, they're usually only found in woodland mansions, which is where they're headed to, and a big reason to go to one in the game. Ender pearls, which we see Garrett mistakenly use, can be super helpful in navigating the end, which is a bunch of islands floating in a dark bottomless void. You also need to craft the eyes of the ender, which is how you access the end in the first place. This pattern of 1 stick and 2 bars of iron is how you would make a sword in game. The crafting table is laid out in the exact same way. And Steve says buckets are useful here, and you can put lava in them, which can be useful for creating obsidian or making sick ass lava flows come out of your eyes of your skull shaped volcano layer. Or if you're like Noah, who helped me write this, you just carry those buckets around with you everywhere. We also see a plains cartographer and a desert cartographer. These are villager types in the game. In these games, these guys will sell you maps that point to templates or structures you can loot and explore. We hear also a bell ring at this point, and in the game, this bell is used whenever a village comes under attack by illagers. Steve, when referring to General Chungus, says we used to get into some dungeon stuff, which has to be a reference to Minecraft Dungeons, which was heavily co-op. There's also a cherry tree here, so Steve must have brought one in from the grove nearby because they're kind of rare. And when Chungus approaches Garrett, he begs for his life, and I'm 100% certain he's trying to do the let me tell you something meme.
Let me tell you something! Let me tell you something! Wait.
In a way to escape, they toss Henry off the edge, and funny enough, in game, there's no fall damage when jumping into water, so Henry would have been fine either way. I don't technically you can do this, Steve, riding on Jason Momoa, but you can share an elytra between 2 players by having one get on a pig or another animal, then the elytra player tows that animal behind them. Then evading the lava bucket, the explosion propels Steve and Garrett through the hole in the wall, so just like Steve said, the fireworks were good for boosting. Below, 2 pandas eat bamboo, and hearts come out, and then a baby appears, and this is how you breed animals in Minecraft. You just need 2 of them and their favorite food source. It works just like humans. So as previously mentioned, there's no fall damage when falling into water, so it's actually pretty common trick for players to just jump off a cliff or into a mine with a bucket of water and dump buckets before hitting the ground, which is I think how Garrett gets out in the first place. Back with Marlene and Nitwit, they're at dinner, and the server is Jeb, one of Minecraft's developers, I think best known as the lead designer and CCO of Mojang Studios, which developed Minecraft. Then we see the Great Hog. Like I mentioned a bit earlier, they were the leader of the piglins in the Minecraft Legends. He's been reduced in this movie to a grunt status though, which kind of funny. Now at the redstone mines, that's what he used to make the lava chicken stand. You can make these types of pressure plate traps using redstone, and the face looking hole, the wall the projectiles are shot from looks like the same in game, and the trap shoots cacti, which is new for the movie. The trap is a slime block attached to a piston. Slime blocks are bouncy, so when it's on a piston like this, they can launch players, and now I'm not sure they can launch you sideways like this, but they can definitely launch you into the air. The diamond room is also full of diamond deposits in the wall, so we know now that Steve is actually loaded with money. Players often build cart tracks like this powered by redstone, which you can see on the tracks to get in and out of mines quickly, or for carrying materials from one spot to another, especially in multiplayer servers. We get all these creepers, and there are reasons you would farm creepers. For instance, you can get gunpowder from them, which might be how we made all that TNT. The creeper farm room is also dark because enemies don't spawn in well-lit places. Although when Steve lights his torch, there are torches all on the walls again, but that's just movie magic, baby. Back with Marlene and her date, the waitress returns and says, "Are you finished?" To which Marlene says, "No, he's Swedish," which I assume is just a joke about Minecraft being created by a Swedish programmer and designer. Either way, back with the gang, we finally make it to the mansion. This mansion, like in the game, has 3 stories. All woodland mansions are 3 stories. His description actually of the floors are pretty accurate to the game too. Vindicators are on the 1st floor, then the evokers get added on the 2nd, but I don't think Endermen are on the 3rd floor. I think it's just more of those 2. The Endermen were originally based on Slenderman, by the way. In the game, they square up if you look at them head on, but otherwise they just go about their business. And you know, when I was playing the game, I looked at them. It scared the shit out of me. Steve made this diorama that's actually really perfect and seamless. He did this in his original job on Earth. He sort of made it out of his food that we saw in the theatrical version, but in the work print cut of the movie that was shared online, he created Steve's resort, which was an awesome diorama, so he's just really good at making these for his job. Then we meet Chicken Jockey.
Chicken Jockey!
A real, very rare Minecraft enemy. Also, the internet has been having a lot of fun with this guy in this moment. Literally, children are throwing buckets of popcorn and holding up live chickens dressed as this character. Someone literally held onto a live chicken for over an hour into the movie. Why? I don't know. It's become like a trend. Like when everybody was seeing the Minion movies as Gru with a million minions buying out the theaters and screaming, "Tonight we take over the moon!" That one though was funny, and I completely get it, because why wouldn't you want to be Gru with a bunch of minions? Also, they were calm in theaters. These kids are throwing food, popcorn, and live chickens. Like, this is crazy. All I'm saying is have fun, have all the fun you want in the theater. Just remember that someone's got to clean that up later, and it wasn't their job to, you know, clean out every inch of a theater before their next showing. We should just make theaters that you can destroy, like rage rooms. As you can see, the loot chests are stacked on each other and their contents have been organized systematically. You'll see this kind of layout in home bases in a lot of different servers. There's a chest just full of wheat, chest full of diamonds and a single axe, kind of like they started creating a full set of diamond equipment, then just got distracted. You know how we are. He grabs an enchanted diamond axe. There's also a chest full of meat. Looks like steak or pork chops, a sword, gunpowder, iron bars, and a golden apple. And Enderman then shows up and teleports next to Henry. Not much is known about these guys, but they come from the end, which is sort of a dimension outside of everything else in a big void. Steve's white eyes here might actually be a reference to the Herobrine. This is Minecraft's very own folklore monster who spawned from a forum post and creepypastas. They are supposedly the ghost of the creator of Minecraft's dead brother. Herobrine looks like Steve, but with just whited out eyes. After being saved by Steve, Garrett and Henry finally link back up. They now have the Earth Crystal and flee the mansion, only to be confronted by the piglins again. Malgosia gets the crystal and dips, and Henry and Steve get out of there while Garrett holds the piglins back, only to get blown up with the bridge. But luckily, Dennis had led the girls back to Steve. Then we see Netherwart coming out of the portal along with the piglin army, keeping them from zombificating. Then we get a little montage of them preparing for battle with the piglins, and it's wild. We also see Henry and Natalie preparing all the iron golems, and with the boots of swiftness instead of the pumpkin, he created the super iron golem, and I like this guy. I will also say, funny scene. Second favorite part of the movie. Malgosia says, "Iron golems will not attack unless provoked." Then Travis shoots an arrow at one, and who is Travis? Why did they even name this character? It is it's a funny edit. Look up the sequence if you haven't. Steve throws eggs, some of which hatch into chickens. This sometimes does happen when you throw eggs in the game. And a little unsurprisingly, it's revealed that Garrett somehow survived the bridge exploding and saves Henry from falling to his death. Then, because it must end with a happy ending, Steve decides to go back with everyone and is now rocking out at Garrett's new pop-in pawn shop? Maybe just a normal game shop now. Natalie has now made a self-defense studio named Survival Mode, which is a mode you can do in the game. Now, you know I'm not gonna pronounce this correctly. Torfi Franz. He makes a cameo in the class, and this is the creative director at Mojang Studios. And then we get a mid-credit scene. We finally get to hear Nitwit again, voiced by Matt Berry, and now they both speak each other's language, Villager and English, and now they're getting married for some reason. And it's not over there. You thought the movie was over? It's not. Steve goes to his old home and meets Alex, the female default character in Minecraft. She's wearing her customary green shirt. So is there a second movie? Probably, because y'all kids have been blowing up the box office for this movie. And that's it for my breakdown of a Minecraft movie. Jokes aside, ridiculousness aside, there were some very funny parts that made me laugh out loud. I appreciate a movie that doesn't have to be serious all the time. Will I see it again? Maybe. Will it ever be in a theater? Absolutely not. Thank you, Noah Chen, for helping me write this, because God knows he plays more Minecraft than I do. I just like watching people stream it. I played it once or twice and I was bad at it. Comment down below your thoughts on a Minecraft movie, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Frederick Price, who supports us at the executive producer level. And follow me at Lulu_Clemons. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network for breakdowns, news coverage, and everything you love. Thanks for watching. Stop destroying the theaters. What does he say? Chicken jockey. Oh, I'm not saying chicken jockey. I can't.
Chicken jockey.